Hello and welcome to episode 200 of the Startcast. Woo! This is Press Start Australia's weekly video game discussion podcast. I'm your host, Ewan, joined today by my fellow gamers, Brody.
Hello.
Stephen.
Hello there.
All the way from Adelaide, special guest appearance.
Yes, lovely Melbourne. Hello.
Welcome. And joining us for the first time in a long time, Shannon.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Well, let's, right off the bat, thank you to everyone for letting us get to episode 200 of the Startcast.
Madness.
It is madness. I don't quite know how we made it. But yeah, special thank you first goes to Shannon for, without which none of this would be possible, allowing us to do this daft thing each week in the name of Press Start Australia.
Yeah.
It is a bit stupid, really, but we love it. That's part of the
Tarnishing the brand for 200 episodes.
And a special thank you as well to Darcy, who people listening won't know, but works tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure episodes are uploaded each and every week, with the exception of last week, in which there was a mistake. But we'll move past that. Brody, being that it is our 200th episode, I'm going to invite you now to reflect back on all the times we've had here. What's your favorite moment that we've had on the show? I'm going to start tidying up now.
I'm going to...
So many.
I've got a personal one, and that would probably be the first video one that we did here. Because that was one of my first podcasts that I did, and I thought that was really... It was not because I was the first time I met
Was
all
that
you
the
guys.
50th or the 100th?
I think it was... might have been the 50th.
I don't think it was a number. I think it was just... Maybe it was 100.
I feel like
Might have been 100.
when I'm asked to do something special, I'm like, I
Or
guess we're
150.
videoing it because it's all I can think of.
It was an E3 one, I remember that.
Yeah, and I know like there was obviously technical issues that day and all that sort of stuff, and we didn't get all the footage we wanted, but it was nice to sort of meet everyone.
Yeah, well,
So-
we'll see how it goes today.
So on a personal on a personal level, that one, but bigger picture, I think it was pretty cool to do our live stream from Fed Square that
Yeah.
we did last year for PAX.
Yeah, that's
That
pretty
was,
special.
that was pretty cool, yeah. So it was good of them to get us down, and until Matt sort of ruined it by taking everyone's souls playing Rocket League, it was a pretty a fun affair. But
Played
yeah,
some Guess Who in the Rain that day. It
yeah,
was
it was a
romantic.
beautiful moment. It's a shame everyone else was there.
All right. Well, given that it is a special episode and the time of year that it is, I thought it was worthy to have our Game of the Year debate here today. So we'll kind of strip away from the other topics. We do have some fun stuff planned for late in the show, but it is a video game discussion podcast. We would be amiss to not discuss some video games. So, Stephen, let's kick off with you. 2019, what was your Game of the Year? And Shannon and Brody, be prepared to tell him why it's wrong.
Look, I absolutely know none of you will agree, and I know this choice is 100% me, but I really, really, really like Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. It's such an incredibly good game. It's sort of, for me as someone who's played the Dark Souls games a lot, it forced me to stop playing it like a Dark Souls game and start being, more aggressive, doing the, really getting absolutely perfect at the timing and stuff like that. And I don't know, I'm the kind of person where a game that demands that much perfection, sometimes I'll just bounce off it super quickly, but this one I kind of persisted over about 6 months, and it took me a straight week to beat the last boss, and that was last
Wow.
week. That was it was a lot of attempts, but
Sounds like a really fun game, totally
Yeah.
worthy to be Game of the Year.
yeah, absolutely. Because when you finish it, the feeling was just, I love that game. It's very, very good fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just great From Software stuff. They did it again.
And well, you're not alone. We did ask people on Twitter, being that it's a special occasion, we were going to be discussing Game of the Year. We reached out to hear what the audience, what their Game of the Year was. And we had Michael K over on Twitter say Sekiro and ended it with an ellipsis, like the 3 dots. So I don't know if that's like if he was overly excited about the year and
Sounds
Sekiro
like a
is
person
just...
of taste.
Do you think it shook up enough from the From Software formula to stand out against their sort of lineage of games?
I think so, yeah, because I guess all the past, from Souls onwards, have all been about slow, methodical, either sort of dodging or just waiting for a moment to attack. Whereas this, if you weren't aggressively going for every possible attack that you could, even if you didn't actually land an attack, you'd still be like affecting enemies and their posture, so you could knock them over with enough aggressive pushes at them, I guess. And yeah, it made me completely rethink the way I played it. The first probably 10, 15 hours that I was playing it, I just was fumbling through because I was trying to play it like a Souls game. And then, because it sort of forced me to rethink how I play, and I don't appreciate that much shaking up, I guess. I think it probably won't shake it up for people who found Dark Souls too difficult or just not something they enjoyed playing.
Yeah.
This is not going to help. It's probably, much harder. I think some of the bosses were harder than anything previously, but I know it shook it up enough for me. That's why I love it.
Yeah, it's like a methodical sort of a combat, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I had a similar sort of experience with Jedi Fallen Order, which admittedly, not the same level of difficulty, but in the same sort of approach to combat, and you really got to think strategically about what you're doing, right? And I don't feel like I kind of really got the combat until like a good midway through the game, maybe when I started to get the pacing, the rhythms just right.
That's the thing, when you get it, you come back to, say, if you play it again, the first parts that completely you were just struggling through. Once it clicks, you come back and it's like, this was never actually that hard, or at least you feel like you've gotten better at the game, and now the things that were completely destroying you before are just easy. It's such a good feeling.
I know they're not Shannon's kind of games, right? They're not.
I did play it like maybe an hour or two of Sekiro, but yeah,
Okay.
the first at the first point where I started struggling, I just put it down and never came back.
It's not for everyone.
It's tough when your time's limited as well, because you kind of, if you've only got like an hour or two in a day to really play a game, you kind of want to feel like you've made some progress.
Yeah.
And even in Star Wars, it was hard for me because I would jump on for a session and spend the whole time unable to beat a boss.
I know, yeah.
And it would be like a good couple of hours without having really made any headway in the story.
Yeah.
But I'm gradually gaining more of an appreciation for that, because every time I went into a fight, I was like, okay, no, I did do slightly better this time. I am learning something new. So even if you've not made any kind of strict progress throughout the game in its entirety, you're not pushing that percentage up, you are kind of learning and becoming better as a player.
Yeah.
What about yourself, bro? Did you play any Sekiro?
I didn't. It was one that was it was sort of on my list that I wanted to play because I'd heard it was different enough from the Souls games that I wanted to give it a try. But I guess it must something else must have come out at that time, and I missed it. And I guess if I find it like in a bargain bin somewhere, I'll still give it a go. I think it's probably one of those games that'll be well suited to something like Game Pass or something like that. So hopefully, if it makes it there one day, I'll manage to play it. But based on everything I've seen, I can definitely see why people enjoy it.
Over on Twitter, we had James write in at @JCarlisle1, and he said it was a pretty lackluster year for gaming, IMO. If I had to choose, then maybe Plague Tale Innocence, but nothing really jumps out to me. This was a bit of a thread over on Twitter about it kind of being a bit of a lackluster year in games. Shannon, like, as the person receiving all the game codes through his email every day, would you say that it was a bit of a disappointing year for games?
I don't know if it was disappointing, but I think just nothing at all stood out. Like we have had like God of War last year and Red Dead Redemption 2 and whatever, like Zelda and Horizon Zero Dawn the year before. Like it was just...
There were no showstoppers in
I
a way.
don't think so. Like I think a lot of people are saying Resident Evil 2 is their game of the year, which is telling considering it's a remake. Like I know it does a lot as a remake, but it still is.
I think if James were here, who himself deserves a special shout out, because unfortunately James couldn't be with us, being that he's based over in Perth, but he is here almost every week to be on an episode of the podcast.
He's here in
and
spirit.
So yeah, without him, I don't know if we could do this, because it commits his time so tirelessly.
He plays every game as well.
And he does, yeah.
Every game
he
in
can
the
speak
world.
to everything as well.
Yeah.
But if he were here, I'm sure he would say that Resident Evil 2 was at least very high up his list.
And normally, like, we can't talk about it too much, but the Game Awards, I know we just put together our nominees and then voting, but it was really split down the middle in like a bad way in terms of like, it was either split between two games or everyone just chose something different, even with the final nominees.
It got me excited, because I'm like, I think we're going to have a real debate this year.
In the end, I just decided. Just fun.
We also did have a few kind of picks from people over on Twitter as well. We had Lucy Crime Fighter on Twitter saying, I'm riding that honk all the way to the top. Goose Game is my silky lighthearted game of the year, which to be honest is probably sort of somewhere in my top 5 as well. We also had Dwayno D say, nothing has tickled my pickle quite like Metro Exodus so far.
To hear.
It must be the atmosphere and immersion. I'm super keen to start Disco Elysium next though, which looks to tick a lot of my boxes. Matt Pot Artist also said, that's an interesting name, isn't it? Dragon Quest Builders 2 was on their list. We had a shout from Chalupa on Space Marine, game of the year every year. Sean suggested Astral Chain, 11, Judgment, and Paul WWE 2K20. I imagine just for the hilarity.
Yeah. To be fair, that is the most laughs I've had watching anything all year.
But Brody, what about yourself? What was your game of the year?
Yeah, I've sort of been tossing up between sort of two things, and though it probably wasn't reflected in my review, like my lizard brain part of me wants to say Death Stranding is like probably one of the more memorable games I've played this year. Like, of course, as you've read probably all the takes on the internet, it's probably not the best game, but there was something about it that was really memorable for me, and I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop talking about it with people, and I think that itself is a mark of something sort of special.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any game this year that has had the polish and like the sheen on it like Control has. Like, and I think Remedy do things too well and like sort of too efficiently to not be rewarded for that. And like I've loved all of Remedy's games. Like, I'm a big Alan Wake guy. I liked Quantum Break. Max Payne was great. And so for them to sort of branch out and do another new IP, which is sort of it's kind of like a culmination of like everything that they're good at. Like, it's got the action of like sort of Quantum Break. It's got like the really obscure, strange storytelling of like Alan Wake. I just realized that all their game names tend to rhyme. Yeah, no, I think they're I don't know, there's just something special about that studio, and like Control. I think in a year that was, I don't think it was a down year for games. I just think there was a lot of games, like Shannon said, there was not any that really stood out. Like, there wasn't a God of War, like one that got 10s across the board.
Yeah.
There was a lot of games that were sort of like 8 9s. And out of all the 8 9s, I'd say Control was definitely up there for me.
Yeah, Control's high up there for me as well. I think you're right in that its story, it was kind of so interesting, and it kind of really quickly throws you into this world that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it deliberately doesn't make a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, the people within that story are trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
They don't quite know like why these anomalies exist, why there are these objects of power.
Very David Lynch sort of.
Yeah, and it's very, very cerebral in that sort of context. And you kind of, I can imagine that being difficult with some people, because you kind of do have to suspend disbelief and just sort of take things as they come and just trust in the narrative that things aren't going to make sense for a while.
Like, yeah, exactly. And like, it's like those moments that I found so memorable. Like the first time, like you like do the hotline and end up in that like cabin and shit. I'm like,
so cool,
I'm like, what the fuck is happening? But I love it. I love it.
Yeah. It's a special game, and I think the art direction is so strong as well, and the sound too. Actually, I think it was probably like high up my list of nominations for those specific categories. Because just like the way that you can interact with the world, and there's that really sort of like strong kind of brutalist aesthetic with the heavy cubes and triangles in certain areas that kind of reveal this very drab kind of corporate environment.
Yeah,
and the connections that it makes between those two worlds as well is quite fascinating.
And even the cast was like great. Like, Courtney Hope was really good.
Yeah, I was disappointed the voice actor for Artie actually didn't make it through as a nominee for the Game Awards, because I thought like his performance was fantastic, just like really unnerving and creepy. Yeah.
And it was just really good to see like old like Remedy alum sort of come through in the cast as well, like, you know, Max Payne's like actor and the people like that. It was really good.
Yeah. What about yourself, Shannon? What was your game of the year?
I think it's worth giving a shout out to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Just to be able to play like an old school single player game without any connected world strand type gameplay. Like, it was great. The soundtrack. I definitely get what people are saying, like with a lot of the platforming stuff. Like, it just felt really weird and unnecessary. And still, every time I pick it up, like I'll miss a vine or just slide off a hill and then be transported back 15 minutes, which is a bit weird, but the rest is perfection.
Yeah. Some of those platforming sections are really just so frustrating, because they really sort of take away what I think is an otherwise fantastic game.
Yeah.
We all know how big a Star Wars fan I am, so to be able to finally have this kind of world that melded elements of obviously Star Wars, but Uncharted and the Dark Souls games.
That
as well,
opening, the platforming is so strong in the opening sequence. That's the thing. That it just sort of falls away.
And that opening sequence seems to me such a homage to Uncharted 2. I mean, it's a train falling off its track, right? And you're climbing up it. Like, I got so excited playing that, and you know, and people sort of make the case: would it be the same kind of game if it wasn't attached to the Star Wars IP? Would we think about it in the same way? And to be honest, I kind of think we would, but maybe that's because it's just kind of cool to have like these kind of telekinetic powers and a laser sword.
I think
any IP that kind of had those intrinsic things, I think we would get excited about.
Yeah, for
within
sure.
the setting.
And the character, it's like a new set of characters as well. So it's not as if they're just putting you in the shoes of Luke and it's the original story. Like, I think it'd still be good if it didn't have the Star Wars. It's hard. You can't even say that. Like, I don't even know how you can say that.
Yeah, it's really hard to separate it, that's for sure. And I think, for much of the game, as much as I'm enjoying it, those kind of platforming elements, and there was just kind of like some imperfections with regard to like the load times and stuff. It wasn't that when I would die, the load would take a while, because that would, but that wouldn't faze me so much. It was when you'd kind of like round a corner and the game would lock up and you would see the spinning going. So it just looks like the game's frozen and crashed. And that kind of took me out of it a bit more.
I think they would have loved like 2 or 3 more months to polish a few things and maybe fix a few of the platforming things. But no doubt they did a good job to get it out.
Yeah,
in
we
2
spoke
years or
about this
whatever they
last
had.
episode, I think, Brody, because by the time people come around to playing this around Christmas time, perhaps, I think, with a few patches and stuff, it could be the game we all want it to be. So
I was chatting to someone last night who was playing an original PlayStation 4, and it sounded like a horrible experience as well. But that's just the time of gen, I guess. We're in.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to give a shout out to Oculus Quest, which is probably not a game, but like my favorite experience of this year for sure. Like it's just I've been playing Super Hot, Beat Saber.
Well, I mean, Beat Saber's like a candidate for Game of the Year conversations, right?
Yeah, I
Gosh,
think
is that this year?
No, I think Beat Saber did come out
it
last
was-
year.
yeah.
Oh, did it? Okay. All right.
it is nominated for the Game Awards
Yeah.
for PlayStation VR, but it is completely
right.
different though with Quest because you're not attached to anything and it
Yeah.
still works perfectly, which makes such a difference in VR.
I want to
I
play.
need to come over to your house and give that a shot.
I was
Yeah.
going to bring it, but I had to Uber here.
I really want to play Super Hot on a Quest. 'cause
Yeah, Super Hot is
yeah.
amazing.
I played Super Hot on PSVR because
Yeah.
I was a big Super Hot guy when it first came out. And then so I played the VR one, and I didn't realize it was a completely different game.
Me neither.
So that was phenomenal, and I'd really like to play it without this brick thing hanging off the back of my neck.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
worrying that you're like going to trip over the cable when you're dodging and weaving. It's
Yeah,
just one
yeah.
less thing to worry about and let you get right into that world.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, my personal game of the year is another Respawn game, but not Jedi Fallen Order. It's Apex Legends, which I kind of feel like I'm going to get flack for because I
No,
put
I think
Fortnite as my game of the year last year. It's like, when's he going to get off this Battle Royale train?
Look, they're fun.
Yeah, but Apex Legends, I know Brody played a bit of it too, having gone to the preview event initially. But I think like the kind of way that the conversation surrounded this game and that it was like a secretive drop, like it was announced like a week or like 5 days before it came
The
out.
same day,
something like
wasn't
that.
it?
I think
Day
it was
off.
same day.
Same
yeah.
day, was
Yeah.
it? Yeah, that's insane. And I think it was just like a really sort of fantastic take on the battle royale genre. Really pushed Fortnite to reinvent what it was doing as well. It's always played fantastically. I think the cast of characters are really, really strong.
Yeah.
They've all got personalities about them in the same way that the Overwatch characters do, and they've really started to expand on that lore now as well. But just the way that they've sort of listened to the community too and expanded upon what they're doing. Like we've already had a new map introduced to the game and new game modes, and they do these kind of seasonal events. And they just kind of seem pretty proactive in doing that. But
Yeah.
it's the kind of game, like, for as much as I enjoy Jedi Fallen Order and as much I'm now enjoying Death Stranding and I loved Control, like, these were all games that were in that conversation for me. I just find myself, like, keep going back to it. Maybe it's the social element as well, too. Like, I got a group of gamer buddies that are wanting to squad up almost every night, and that kind of pull is always there.
Well, they're the two sides of gaming, right? Like you've got these narrative-driven experiences that you want to have by yourself, but then it is great to just be able to jump on the console every night and play with your mates.
Yeah. I also wanted to give a shout out to the Division 2 as well, which I think kind of seems quite a miss from the conversation as well. But like
Brody's laughing at you.
yeah,
No.
not a Division 2 fan, Brody.
Oh, I didn't play it.
I just think like we saw a few kind of those looter shooter kind of style games come out this year and fall flat. Most notably Anthem, I suppose,
And Breakpoint as well.
and
Ghost
Breakpoint as
Anthem's
well.
like $4 at the moment.
Yeah, it's grim. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the Division included everything that was released kind of post-launch for the initial game, and expanded upon over time. It just had a much deeper end game, introduced new environments and new approaches to gameplay, and I think it really sort of nailed that formula for looter shooter and really sort of set a new standard. So although, yeah, it probably doesn't make my top 5, I think it's kind of worth shouting out as well. Just double checking Twitter as well. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I think it's like a weird one in sort of conversation too.
Yeah, gosh,
Because-
I forgot that was this year as well.
Yeah,
Was
it
it
qualifies
was late.
this year.
It was late December. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was late,
okay.
yeah. So it kind of falls after the cutoff from the previous
Yeah.
year.
It's really weird. If that came out this year, I would have said that would have
Yeah.
been Game of the Year, but I just can't give it to something that's last year. I don't know.
I know what you mean. And even for me, like, it's just my current situation. Previous Smash, I was playing daily for a good year straight. But this one, I'm just, not living near the friends I played Smash with. So I played it a bit as it came out, got through, unlocked everything, and it kind of fell off. So as much as I know it's an incredibly good game, it's got so much content, so much longevity, I just haven't played it. So it doesn't, or haven't played it enough to consider it the game of the year conversation for me.
Yeah, well, OSG Chief over on Twitter did, at Luke4Games, said, if we're just meaning the games that were nominated, then Smash Bros. Haven't played any of the others, but have a feeling something else will win. So sort of on the same page with us. We also had a fair few calls for the Outer Worlds 2, which I know a lot of people have really enjoyed. I've not quite sunk enough time into it yet to really sort of have a read on it. But friend of the show, Matt Tilby, it's Tilby over on Twitter, said the Outer Worlds, because of course a game like this would make me run through a planet filled with deadly aliens just to collect some sweets so my crew members can go on a date with a girl she likes, which is honestly winning me over to the game. It sounds like a lot of fun. We also had Kerry P at Kerry J Palmer over on Twitter saying the Outer Worlds is hands down my pick. I experienced so many emotions during that game, and the mystery and wonder is wonderful. Also, the design is surprising and delightful and intelligent at every turn, and the visual style and the music. So apparently lots of things love about the game. But that's another one I'm going to have to make a concerted effort to get around to. When it comes to the Game Awards, though, and the ones nominated, we have Control, Resident Evil 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Sekiro, Death Stranding, and The Outer Worlds, which I think we've all sort of covered in that conversation there. Brody, who can you see walking away with the gong if you were to predict, if you were a betting man?
Like I obviously said Control is mine, so I'd like to see Control, but then I know as much as the Jeff Keighley factor is not a thing, apparently, you know, Death Stranding could surprise a few, but I don't know, what else was there? Smash Brothers?
Yeah, Smash Bros. Is there, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, The Outer Worlds.
Yeah, well, I mean, The Outer Worlds has a pretty big, it was received pretty well critically, and it's I think it's like 10% fan vote. So if like the fans jump on as much as they have sort of with our conversations, you know, The Outer Worlds could be a smoky.
Yeah, yeah.
Smoky
I think there's some special things around The Outer Worlds as well, that given that and Xbox Game Pass is awesome because people really got attached to it, and it's an independent release as well, technically, which is, I mean, granted, like a pretty high budget indie release, but all the same, that's a pretty cool achievement in of itself.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Stephen?
I don't know. I was leaning to Death Stranding because a lot of the games that are nominated this year are ones that are for a particular niche of person. I don't think there's quite as many games that appeal to everyone, like the God of Wars, like they're sort of pretty much mass appeal, whereas a lot of the games this year have been you'll either like it or you won't, and Death Stranding kind of falls into that. But I think it's had the most conversation out of all of them this year. Maybe it's because it's so recent, it feels very current, but I feel Control fell off a little bit in the conversation very quickly. Sekiro, I love it, but it's not going to be Game of the Year.
And I don't know if Control sold particularly well. Like,
I don't think so.
I'd love to see Death Stranding win just for the
Lols.
the fallout, the conversation.
Yeah, I wonder about Death Stranding because it just, you know, as popular as it kind of was, and as favorable it ended up being with the critics, I think it's still kind of divisive.
Yeah.
And so I wonder, you know, when we have these internal conversations like we had, if it's going to really rise to the top in amongst that, or if there'll be enough division that something like Control kind of takes the limelight, or The Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's sort of between Control and The Outer Worlds, is just being able to sneak that. And based on the conversation and the timing, I think The Outer Worlds kind of just has that leg up on Control. So yeah, I'm kind of tempted to predict it's going to be that. But yourself, Shannon, what do you feel?
Yeah, so I think if votes were cast when, like, for the final nominees, were cast when the nominees were voted for, like Death Stranding would have had. Sorry, I know that was confusing. I think Death Stranding would have had it just because it was literally like a day after reviews dropped and hype was sort of everywhere among critics. But I think because they would have had maybe 3 or 4 weeks to step away from it and actually think about the games. I think it's between Resident Evil and Control, and I think Control might just take it just because it is new IP. First Remedy game in a while. But Resident
Maybe we
Evil
should have actually taken bets. There's quite a different spectrum here.
Resident Evil 2 is the highest reviewed game of the year on Metacritic, so I don't know.
Right.
There's that too.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
A very fair point. Well, as we like to say here on the Starcast, we will just have to wait and see how it all turns out. But I suppose it's interesting as well that we mentioned Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
It's not in the list of nominees, although it was eligible for this year. But we were asked to submit our nominations prior to review codes for the game being sent out.
Yeah, it's weird.
So I think it's gonna be an interesting game. Although, like, it was maybe number 2 on my list, I don't think it's going to win any awards ever because it won't be eligible next year.
I don't think it's going to.
Which is kind of bonkers.
Yeah, case of bad timing, I suppose.
Yeah, but also at the same time, Disney doesn't care about awards, and I guess EA doesn't care about awards.
No.
They just want to make sure that the game's
Money.
selling.
I
right?
mean, yeah.
Still, it's a pretty big deal to have it nominated and potentially win the Game Awards. Like, it's a big event.
It is.
It
yeah,
could- it could still
and it's
be-
good for the developers. That's
Yeah.
how I really
Yeah.
feel
It
it.
could-
hard
EA
done
needs
by in
it for
this.
Star Wars.
It could still be nominated for like VGAs and like BAFTAs and stuff, couldn't it?
It could. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a fair
so-
point. Yeah,
But
there's plenty
I
of
think
others it
it's
could
surprising that
win.
Apex
VGAs?
Legends.
What are you talking about? Isn't this the VGAs?
I don't know.
This is TGAs.
I think it's
Maybe
the
that's
same
something
thing.
Oh.
I think
Video
it.
Game Awards.
I think it was the
BAFTAs.
VGAs,
Sorry.
and now it's the Game
Oh.
Awards.
BAFTAs
Okay.
then.
BAFTA wasn't British developed. Does that? I don't know how the BAFTAs work.
I think it's
actually.
fine.
I don't know.
I don't know
Alright.
either. Yeah, it's fine.
Being that it is a special occasion, I thought we would bring back a fan favorite segment this week, folks. So that's right, we're doing a video game related BuzzFeed questionnaire / quiz. This time asking the question, can BuzzFeed guess which generation I belong to based on the video game specific information? So I don't know if you guys never took part in one of these, but James and I used to do them when it was just the two of us and we couldn't do what the wiki.
Oh, fair.
And you know, BuzzFeed just provides hilarity. So I thought I'd bring it back for this special occasion. And today we're doing the quiz. This video game quiz will guess if you're a Gen Z, Gen X, or a millennial. If you want to play along at home, you better find it there. So everyone's got the quiz up on their phone.
Yep.
I believe. Yeah, excellent.
Yep.
Cool. So for question number 1 is pick a gamer tag, and the 3 options we have are gamer 5436877 or woot woot win win with lots of like letters and numbers all combined in there, and then frozen hyphen dinner.
Where's Big Daddy?
Yeah. Brody, which one are you leaning towards here?
I think I'm frozen dinner,
Frozen dinner. Yeah.
mainly because it's the only one that describes my diet. So
I'm kind of tempted to go frozen dinner too because I never liked numbers and like funky stuff in
I
the
don't
game
like-
tag.
Yeah,
I, don't
thought
like what the
Frozen
kids
Dinner as
call
well.
leet speak.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Sure, yeah.
I do have a hyphen in the middle of my PSN as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, we
so-
should probably clarify as well. You guys are all millennials. Yeah. I guess technically I'm a millennial too. 96 in the birth year.
You're
Did
on
we
the
verify
you're
that?
on, yeah, you're on the fringe.
I'm on the fringe. Okay. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll see how it goes. Whether I can pick.
You've
I'm a
always been
Zoomer or
the
millennial.
baby boy of press start.
All right. Question number 2. Do you watch streams? Yes, no, or I stream every week for my fans. I don't stream every week, but I do stream occasionally. So maybe I need to tick that one.
I think you just say yes.
No.
Oh, sorry, no. Yeah.
I certainly watch streams, but I do occasionally stream myself.
Well,
Well,
then,
not every
yeah.
week.
Well,
I'll
then
I'll
don't lie. Don't lie to the quiz.
Fair enough. Okay, I watch streams.
I've
Okay.
watched like 3 streams, so I don't think that counts.
They're not big on the streamers, Stephen?
I
No?
mean, it's fun when it's a cool event or something like, Games Done Quick, or I know someone's
Sure.
going for a world record, but I'm not going to sit down and watch someone play a new release video game. I'll play the new
I'm-
release video
yeah,
game.
That's pretty much me. Like
Yeah.
I'll watch like YouTube content people. Like I watch Funhouse and stuff play games, but I
Yeah.
don't watch streamers play games necessarily.
Yeah, okay. You're not tuning in live,
No.
so to speak. Okay,
No.
cool. How do you game with friends? Option number 1, go over to their house. 2, have a LAN party. Or 3, connect over the internet.
Now this is a trick question because I don't.
You do-
I have no friends.
True.
We've played together on a couple of occasions. Brody.
Rarely.
Haven't we?
And that was
Bit of COD,
A
some
Way
Rocket
Out.
League,
We played a
maybe?
Way Out
I haven't.
together.
A Way Out?
We
Wow.
did, and that
That's an
was over
experience.
the internet.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
See, I've gone over to house and done the couch co-op. I've done the LAN party, but I feel like nowadays I'm just over the internet.
You
I
can't
feel
do a
like you
LAN
have
party.
people over a lot
No,
more
true,
than anyone
yeah.
else that I know.
I have people over a lot more.
Yeah, you and your brother always have people over for.
We do. Actually, I'm having people over tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe go
I
over to the
feel
house. Fair point. Okay, I've changed my answer on that one. This one is going to be hard for the people at home to like understand. Oh wait, we got video this time.
Oh.
So what do you call this dance move? And it's people aren't going to see this, but it's like kind of like a twisting sort of
Oh.
shuffle with the feet in.
He's actually doing it.
I'm trying to. I can't. I don't
Oh.
know.
I think
It reminds me of like
That's yeah.
I think of that as more of like a shuffle, but the options are the Charleston swing dancing and the flapper. So I don't know how
going
far
at
back in
random
the
on this.
generations we're going here.
That's Shannon's nickname.
The swing dancing.
Yeah. Big Daddy Flapper.
I would guess that's swing dancing, I'm going to say.
I
I
said
really
the-
don't know, though.
I said the Charleston.
I said the
Charleston?
Charleston. That's the only one I know is an actual dance.
Yeah,
move.
that's because we're old.
Maybe it's just kind of Christmassy, but that looks like an elf dance to me. And those
Yes.
shoes look like elf dance.
It's
feet
all about the
dancing.
shoes.
Elf shoes. All right. I don't know how far in this quiz we are now, which question this is. But when you see LOL or LOL, maybe I don't know. The first thing you think of is League of Legends, laugh out loud, or lots of love. I think laugh out loud.
Laugh out loud.
Yeah.
It never meant lots of love. I think that's
Parents
what
have put
parents
that
thought.
in.
Yeah.
Okay, boomer.
If it was League of Legends, the O would be lowercase.
Yeah.
I think
Yes, you're right.
Strictly
And it is
speaking.
capitalized here. You are right.
we have to stress that.
Yeah.
In fact, only one of those options, in one is the O capitalized. So it's not even a matter of opinion.
The correct answer.
Yeah, there is a correct answer.
When you buy games, you prefer physical hardware, digital downloads, or a mix of both? I'm actually a mix of both, Stephen. I know you're going to hate me to admit that because we're the physical hardware guys, but
Get him, Stephen.
I have a lot of digital games. It makes
Yeah.
it very easy to move states and not bring like bookshelves worth of all these game discs. It's
yeah.
good to whatever's cheaper. Let's be honest.
I'm at the point now as well where I get frustrated when I like exit a game on my PlayStation and go to open another one. It's like, you don't have the disc insert. I'm like, yeah, I forgot about discs. Oh my god.
PS4 started to be really unreliable with reading discs as well, so I'm very glad I've got a lot of digital games.
Oh, right. There you go.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on VR? It's awesome. Never tried it. It's too early to know. I'm all in for it's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 100% awesome.
If you've played Super Hot, it's awesome. If you
Shannon
haven't,
was
then you
singing the
haven't played
praises
VR.
of the
Yeah,
quest
that's
earlier in the
awesome.
show, so it's awesome all around here.
Confirmed.
Oh, okay, that's the end of the article. That's the end of the
Okay.
quiz.
Where
How do
are
we
we
get the
at?
results?
It just pops up.
Yeah.
Oh, does it?
You
Yeah.
must have missed one.
I must have missed one. Oh yeah, mix of both. I didn't tick that one. There we go. Okay. Should we reveal the answer, Shannon? You reveal first. How did it go?
You got Gen Z.
Gen Z, you're a Zoomer.
Yep. What's the point of gaming if you can't play online with all 1,000 of your closest friends?
This makes sense. I
Yeah.
guess out of all the millennials I know, you're the most Zoomer. Stephen, how about you?
I'm a millennial. They got me.
They got you.
My first
Those
experience. with-
BuzzFeed algorithms.
Yes, they got it right.
Hacked the system.
I switched from cartridges to CDs and probably still play the modern iteration of my favorite video game franchise because nostalgia sticks with you forever.
Yep.
I hate how accurate that
Yeah.
is.
You feel
I
tired.
got the same. It actually picked me as a millennial, which maybe we have to give particular credit for because I'm so on the line.
You guys
but,
need to swap places in age.
to be fair, I've always felt that. Yeah, so it picked me. I'm a millennial too. Brody, what about yourself?
Apparently, I'm a Zoomer also.
A Zoomer? No
We're
way.
meant to be.
Which I think is strange because I feel like I answered everything that I didn't want to know anyone. So,
Yeah.
and yet I have a lot of thousands of friends apparently.
Yeah, I guess Zoomers just keep everyone at a distance, maybe? Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe.
Are you going to go out and buy a hoverboard at the end of the show?
Yes.
All right. Now I think it's time for What the Wiki, which is the StarCast game show, where the previous week's winner reads part of a Wikipedia page for an unknown game, and we, the contestants, must guess the game. The first to guess two games correctly wins the round and takes home the points. And speaking of points, ladies and gentlemen, as a special treat for the 200th episode of the StarCast, we have a recorded recap from the man himself, the official What the Wiki keeper of the score, at Jamie Penning over on Twitter. So I'm going to provide the recap now. So I'm just going to play it into the mics from now, but I'll edit in all nicely later. So from
Magic.
Jamie, guys.
Hello, Press Start Australia, and to everyone listening, this is Jamie, your official What the Wiki keeper of the score, bringing you a recap of What the Wiki from episode 199. It was Brody's turn to host after his win in episode 198, and the players were Stephen, James, and Ewan. Now, Stephen pretty much blitzed it, leaving everyone stunned. So
Everyone.
he ended up getting the point. The standings are now, James is still on 9 points, Brody is on 8, Stephen is now on 7, Ewan is on 3, and Shannon is on 1 point. And to Press Start, congratulations on 200 episodes.
Aw.
It's been a pleasure listening to you, and here's to more episodes for the years to come.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jamie.
That's
Thank you
sweet.
so
Thank
much
you.
for submitting that.
That's
Oh, it
lovely.
just started
He
replaying.
took his
Lovely.
time. Took his time out in a wind tunnel to film that for us. I really
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah. On a side to Jamie as well, it makes my life so much easier not to have to do that job. So for him to provide the score updates every week on Twitter is absolute blessing.
He's a legend.
He is.
Speaking of which, if you ever want to be part of the show as well, you always can be. Use the hashtag #TheStartcast to play a part. Thank you for everyone that tweeted in today their Game of the Year suggestions, and for Jamie especially for recording that special segment for us. So, Stephen, as last week's winner, you are taking over the game show hosting duties this week. Take it away.
Yes, indeed. Well, I've got a bunch. There is a bit of a theme. It's probably going to be obvious when you get through them, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so first game is an action online role-playing game in the series developed by Bethesda Game Studios and published by Bethesda Softworks.
Shannon, or
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Taking a
Fallout
stab.
76. Did you say online?
it's
You did,
Fallout
yeah.
76.
Did you say online? You did say
Yeah, I
online.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I missed the online bit. Damn it.
Well,
I suppose online it could still have been Elder Scrolls Online.
yeah, it's about the only other one I can think
yeah.
of.
Well done, Shannon. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Who saw
Out
this
of the
coming?
gate. He's doing it
Go
for
on,
James.
Brody,
doing
Brody,
it for
this
James.
is your chance.
Yes,
He's
I
going
know.
to
He's
win
going.
this.
He's going for his second point. Here we go.
2 for 2. It'll be.
Well, here is the two. The game is a platform video game developed by Toys for Bob and published by Activision. It is a collection of remasters of the first 3 games.
Oh,
in
Ewan.
this- Yes.
Is it the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy?
It is not.
Damn
Brody.
it.
But
Wait,
Oh,
no, it's
win-
not what I
Wait,
think.
who
Toys
went
for Bob?
first? We need an
Oh, no, I need a
adjudicator.
second guess. Damn it.
I think it was Brody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's Spyro, the Reignited trilogy.
Yes, Spyro Reignited Trilogy.
God damn it. I should have paid more attention
That
to the
one
Toys
was
for Bob
for
thing. I
you.
know, I got so excited.
Well, not specifically.
I
for
like
you,
that
though.
Shannon, in the interest of making it interesting,
Yeah.
yielded to me for that one.
Excellent.
Okay.
Damn it. I mean,
Next game is a first-person shooter video game developed by EA Dice and published by Electronic Arts. The game is the 16th installment in the series. It was released worldwide for Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on November 20, 2018.
Brilliant.
Shannon.
I think I heard Ewan first.
oh, was it Battlefield 5?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Even Steven.
Oh my
Everyone
goodness.
hit on this.
Oh my goodness, my hands are sweating.
He's weak.
Palms are heavy.
Vomit on my cyberpunk jacket already.
You're just rubbing in the fact you got a cyberpunk jacket a little bit more.
It's very swish.
Yeah.
Well, the tiebreaker, here it goes. The game are remakes of the 1998 role-playing video game Something. They were developed by Game Freak and published by the
Shannon.
Pokemon.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee.
Yes, it is Pokemon Let's
God
Go.
damn it, who would've seen
Shannon
this
is in it. Oh, well.
Disgusting.
hell. So Shannon, you're finally away from 1 point.
Yeah.
I feel like you win points like every
Every
time you're
time
on the
I'm on,
show.
yeah.
If you were on the show more regularly, you would actually be doing much better this season.
How stoked is James right now?
He is.
Man.
Oh my gosh, he's wiping the sweat off his brow. No joke. So Shannon, I believe that would move you up to 2 points. Myself on 3, Stephen on 7, Brody still on 8, and James still on 9. But with another month left in the year,
Yeah.
we've
means
still
you have-
got.
You have to come on next week.
Yeah. Oh, true. Actually, you will need to come on. You're going to take over the hosting duties. So
Fuck,
make me
dude.
the
I do
host.
take cash bribes
I'm-
from both Brody and James.
If I'm still on 3 points, I can still. If I win every game from here, no, I can't. I can't get a podium position.
No.
Damn it! Whose idea were these new rules?
Yeah. Double points.
Well-
starting now.
Huh?
With that,
Last one.
ladies and gentlemen, let's bring an end to what was episode 200 of the Startcast. Woo! I was the only one. I gave you 2, didn't I?
Yeah, well,
we
you
used
said
them both at
told
the
that.
start.
I was told to
Did
do
we?
that.
You used them both at the start?
It was very exciting.
That
That
was-
was not the 200th episode.
We thought that was the
Look,
arrangement.
that sums up everything, Preston.
We always blow our wad early.
Subscribe to us on Podcast One or the
Except for you,
podcast service of your choice. Actually, on that note too, special thank you to Podcast One for allowing us to use their fancy studio today and bring you video footage as well. Super top people there allowing us to do this. Follow us at press.au, join in the conversation with hashtag the Startcast, and visit the site at press.com.au. If you go over there at the moment, you can find all of your Black Friday details. Mind you, it depends when I get this out, because how long does Black Friday go on for?
Till
Cyber
Tuesday.
Monday, right? Till
yeah.
Tuesday. Okay, there might be a day or two still. We've been joined today by Brody.
Thank you. You can follow me on most things at Brody_DG. A little bit into the future, maybe after Black Friday, there's an interview going up with Mick Gordon, so keep an ear out for that.
And travelling all the way from Adelaide to be with us today, Stephen.
Yeah, I'm on all the social things at Stephen Impson. Instagram is usually full of cats from around the neighbourhood, so that's exciting.
Stephen, are you on TikTok yet? Are you much of a TikTok guy?
I haven't made anything for TikTok, but I have wasted many, many hours scrolling through TikTok. That thing is just, I can't stop. It's too good.
Yeah, and that's not a question I need to ask Shannon and Brody because they're both Zoomers, of course, and of course they're on TikTok. And also gracing us with his presence today, taking time away from his busy schedule posting bargain guides. It's Shannon.
True. Yeah, thanks for having me. You can follow me at, I think, Shancake_. I still don't know if there's an underscore or not, but one of those.
How do you, of all people,
I
not
don't
know your
know.
Twitter handle?
I think it's Shancake.
He's the one that's verified. You'll find it.
Yeah.
And I've been your host, Ewan Roxburgh. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Ewan_Roxburgh. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you again for making all of this happen and joining us for 200 episodes now of the StarCast. We love doing it. I hope you love listening to it and putting up with our shenanigans each and every week. But until next time, happy gaming.
Peace.
Bye.
See ya.